Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Um, this has been absolutely hopeless this morning. This must be about the fifth or sixth attempt to get it right, so I'm just going to leave it running and see what happens, as per usual. First of all, a quick apology for the complete lack of a video last Sunday. As I explained in the little video that I did for the group, occasionally life gets in the way of what you actually want to do, and that's pretty much what happened last week, which is why I didn't get a chance to basically sit in front of the camera and chat to you guys for half an hour or so. Hopefully I can make it up to you today. Big news. You're all familiar with Callie's podcast. Podcast. Here we go. I think it's called Honey, Your Geek is Showing. I think that's right. Sorry if I've got it wrong, Callie. I do apologise. It's a podcast that's posted on or within the group pretty much every sort of Wednesday or Thursday. Deals with sort of fantasy movies, fantasy films, action figures, that kind of thing. I've been asked to appear on it, or to join them one week. We're recording it next Sunday. I'm not allowed to say what the subject matter is, but it's something that's very, very close to my heart. So I'm really looking forward to it. I've never ever done a podcast before. It's all done over Zoom. I've never Zoomed in my life, so it's all going to be new. I've got to install Zoom either on the phone or on the PC and all this. But they're going to walk me through it. But we're going to be recording it next Sunday around about 7. As I say, I can't tell you what it's about. It won't actually be uploaded for a few weeks because unlike Mr. Organised here, Callie is a lot better organised than I am, and she actually records her podcast sort of weeks in advance so that she's got a few ready to go should she come across a few weeks where she's not able to do one. So it really is what I should be doing. The difference between obviously what Callie does and what I do is a lot of the stuff that I do on the videos is sort of time sensitive, whereas I discuss or talk about posts that have happened over the last week or so. And obviously if I'm leaving it 4 or 5 weeks, you're all going to wonder what the hell I'm on about, because it would have been and gone like weeks ago. So I could probably try and record single reviews and stuff like that and sort of cobble them together and add them onto the end of the onto the end of the actual video, but I pretty much do have to do mine sort of every week, so that I can do a roundup of the posts that have been put on within the group. So yeah, that's big news for me. Like I say, never done a podcast before, never been asked to appear on one, so I'm really, really looking forward to it. I'll let you know how it goes, but as I say, I can't tell you what it's about. It's no big secret, but it's just, I think they just like to keep it close to the chest until the actual upload date, so obviously I respect that. So thanks to Callie and Guy for asking me, and I'm really looking forward to it. What have I got? I've got a stack of notes here. I don't know I'm going to get through this lot in half an hour, but I would do my best. First off, let me see. First off, oh God, I got it wrong again. 2 weeks ago, I was talking about a book called Life After Kess. Basically, it's based on the movie Kess, the stars, the making of the movie, the legacy that it's left behind. I didn't even notice until I watched the video back to make sure everything was okay. Billy Casper was not played by David Williams. I don't know where the hell my head was at when I said that. I've seen this film 1,000 times, read the book many, many times. Billy Casper was played by Di Bradley, as I well know. So I have no idea where that came from. So an apology for that particular cock up. A few shout outs. Scott, that was a terrific video you did. Let's see, it would have been a couple of weeks ago. If you can't remember what it is I'm talking about, I do apologise. I'm going back 2 weeks now, obviously 2 weeks worth of post. But yeah, that video you did on the Criterion collection, your Criterion collection, some cracking titles in there, mate. Midnight Cowboy, what a movie. It was the first American movie ever to get an X certificate. No, it wasn't the first movie to get an X certificate. It was the first X certificate movie to win Best Picture Oscar in 1969. I've seen Midnight Cowboy loads of times, but I really would not mind that Criterion version. There is also a book on the making of Midnight Cowboy, which I spotted on Amazon last week, which I'm fairly sure I'm going to be giving in at some point this week and ordering that. So yeah, Midnight Cowboy, cracking film. What else have you got there? Clute, Jane Fonda. Saw this many years ago. Brilliant movie. Jane Fonda and Donald Sutherland. I believe it's to do with a killer murdering prostitutes. Donald Sutherland plays a detective, if I remember right. Brilliant movie, 1971, if I remember correctly. Straw Dogs, talked about it many times. What a film. Violent as hell, cracking story. Dustin Hoffman and Susan George. I bet the Criterion version of that is absolutely stunning. Blowout, John Travolta. I remember going to see that. Yeah, I remember seeing that in 1981 when it was released at Burton Odeon. John Travolta plays a sound guy who records something to do with a murder, if I remember right. It's a while since I've seen that one, but it's one that I do definitely want to check out again at some point. Five Easy Pieces, Jack Nicholson. Never seen it. This is one that I've always meant to have a look at, and with having the week off work this week, I think that's one of the movies I'm going to be checking out. But again, cracking Criterion title. What else have we got here? Seven Samurai. The movie that they based, or loosely based, The Magnificent Seven on. So yeah, classic. And that Godzilla box set, well jealous. That looks absolutely amazing. I'd like to see more of that. If you do, I can't remember whether it was wrapped up in cellophane or not. But if not, you could do worse than do a video of the unboxing of that and show us what's actually inside there. That looks amazing. So yeah, cracking video, Scott. Really enjoyed that one. Let's see. What else have I got on here? Yeah. The Black Phone, horror movie starring, I've forgotten his damn name. Ethan Hawke. Been banging on about it for weeks. The trailer's been sort of bouncing around on the group. Nikki Cross and a fella Nathan went to see it at the cinema last night, and apparently it does not disappoint. The thing is with trailers, as you all know, sometimes the trailer is better than the actual movie. In this case, I gather it isn't. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it now. I had a horrible feeling this was going to be one of those. The reports were going to come back as, nowhere near as good as, you're led to believe in the trailer. But apparently, according to Nikki, this one is definitely well worth a watch. So I will be looking out for that one when it comes onto streaming, without a doubt. Jason, that Scurry movie, it looks horrible. I think it was on the back of what we were talking about as far as arachnophobia goes, and I think you popped it on, sort of kind of related to that. Just the word scurry, it suggests spiders. So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to that one, but not kind of looking forward to that one, if it makes any sense. And we also got onto the subject, if I remember right, of claustrophobic movies. Not a great fan of them. I have to admit, they do make me feel very uncomfortable. Some of the ones, some of the worst ones, The Descent, which I think everybody recognises as a very claustrophobic film. What else did we have? 127 Hours, somebody mentioned to me. I know of this, but there is absolutely no way that I could sit through it, as it's to do with a guy who gets trapped between boulders, if I remember correctly, and he ends up having to break his own arm and eat part of his... Oh God, I dread to think, but from what I've heard of it, I absolutely would not get past the accident, let alone the aftermath of it. So that's one I won't be bothering with. Probably one of the worst ones, so I've heard, is a movie called Buried with Ryan Reynolds. He gets buried alive in a coffin underground, and apparently most of the movie is set in that coffin. I can't think of anything worse, claustrophobia wise, than being stuck in a coffin underground. So that's another one. There are so many. Love your figures as well, mate. You put some pictures on of the movie figures that you've got. Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees. I didn't know you collected those things. I used to collect many years ago the Aurora Universal Monster figures. There were models that you had to build. There were Dracula, the Frankenstein, the Wolfman, the Gillman from the Creature from the Black Lagoon. There were quite a few of them, and I had them. I believe I gave them away when I left home. But yes, I used to collect those. I used to love those. And I do occasionally look on Amazon, and you get the odd Aurora model kit of stuff like the Sea View from Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, the Jupiter 2 from Lost in Space, and I've been tempted more than once to pick one of those up. I've never actually done it yet because I wouldn't actually have the time to make the model. And they are quite expensive nowadays. You pay quite a bit. I think the Sea View was 170 something pounds. That's a lot of money for a plastic model. But I think it's about 2-3 feet long, so I mean it would be well worth it. But it's a lot of money to pay out for a model kit that you're going to build up. But yeah, I was quite tempted, and it got me thinking of maybe going back into that when I get a bit more time, seeing those figures. So yeah, thanks for showing us those, mate. Much appreciated. There was a post on there this week about Predator sequels. It'll come as no surprise to any of you to know that the only Predator movie I've seen is the original Schwarzenegger movie from '87. I never did see Predator 2. I didn't like the look of it from the trailer, and I've certainly not seen, is it AVP, Alien vs Predator, or The Predator? I've not seen that one either. But Prey, the new movie, does look original and different, so I will be very tempted to have a look at that when it comes out. Callie, I know you're a huge fan of the Predator movie, so I would imagine you're really looking forward to this one. So yeah, I will be taking a look at Prey when it comes out, and it may just spur me into wanting to watch the other ones, go back to the beginning, watch the original again for about the 30th time. I have seen that one quite a few times. And then hopefully pick up on the sequels as well. So, Dominion, Jurassic Park. Have you seen it yet, Jason? I believe you've got tickets booked to go and watch it. You must know this because you've been on the internet. It's not getting the best reviews, and I'm not one for listening to critics as a rule. I just try not to listen to them. I'm perfectly capable of making my own mind up as to whether a film is going to be good or bad, or whether I'm going to be indifferent to it. But I'm just curious to know whether you've actually seen it yet. It's not exactly getting brilliant reviews. I think everybody pretty much agrees that it was probably another unnecessary sequel, but you can probably tell me better than that. I have been told that it is stunning in IMAX. I'm not familiar with IMAX. I've never ever seen. Has anybody seen a movie in IMAX? Can tell me what it's like? I'm guessing Top Gun Maverick is one to watch in that format. If anybody's ever seen an IMAX movie, I'd be very curious to know what you thought of it. Have we even got an IMAX in Burton? I don't think we have we? We've got obviously Cineworld. You can probably tell me more about that. Let's see, but we're also talking about sequels that are better than the originals. We got the obvious ones out of the way. Aliens is obviously a true classic. What was the other one? Godfather 2, absolutely superb. Better, if not equal to the original, without a doubt. A few of the lesser known ones that never seem to get a mention, or hardly ever get a mention. Empire Strikes Back. 1980, obviously the second Star Wars film. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. I'm not sure whether it was better than Star Wars, but it certainly equalled it without a doubt. Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, far superior to Star Trek the motion picture. I do love the original, the motion picture, and I'm really looking forward to seeing a 4K print of that if they release the director's cut, which I believe is coming sort of anytime soon. But Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan was absolutely superb, and to me, streets ahead of the original. What was it? Friday the 13th Part 2. You all know what a huge fan I am of the Friday the 13th movies. The original was absolutely brilliant. But Friday the 13th Part 2 took the whole thing to another level, I thought anyway. So that is one that I would class the sequel as definitely better than the original. What else have I got written down here? Let's see, Dawn of the Dead. Far superior to Night of the Living Dead, even though the Night of the Living Dead is a black and white 60s classic. Dawn of the Dead, absolutely brilliant. 1979, George Romero again. A long movie. There are various different cuts of this movie about, ranging from sort of 1 hour 55 up to 2.5 hours. Whichever one you get, it's a classic horror movie. And Jaws 2. Jaws was absolutely brilliant. You can't class it as anything other than a masterpiece, but I thought Jaws 2 was really, really good as well. I know not everybody agrees with me. That's probably a controversial thing to say. But I thought Jaws 2 was superb. Really, really good. Not as good as the original. Not even equal, but not far off it. I didn't think so anyway. Be curious to know what you guys think of that one. Let's see, what else have I got here? We had a little post about cinema rooms. I put a picture on, or an article on one that I would love at some point. I mean, it's only a dream. It's probably never going to happen, but I'd be very curious to see what your idea of a cinema room would look like. So if you see one online, post it within the group and we'll compare notes on them. I do dream one day of actually converting that horrible back room that I showed you quite a few videos ago, where I've got all of the junk and the stuff that I can't find a place for is stacked in there, and my dream is to strip that room out and turn it into a cinema room. And it will happen at some point, I just don't know when. But I'd be very curious to see what you guys consider a cinema room to look like. So yeah, if you want to post your photographs of what your ideal cinema room looks like, by all means you go for it. What else have I got here? ITV gone all retro for Saturday nights. I don't know about you, but Saturday night TV for me is an absolute nightmare nowadays. It's been a nightmare for years. It's just crap. It's all reality shows and Strictly and Saturday Night Takeaway. Ooh, boring. Now it looks as if we're going back to major films, and not just major films, but old major films. Last night we had a double bill of Live and Let Die, the Bond film from 1973, which was Roger Moore's debut movie, and Jaws following straight after. What a classic double bill for a Saturday night. Are we finally moving back to proper entertainment, rather than this constant slew of reality TV, which absolutely drives me nuts? I cannot stand reality TV. I hate it. And Saturday nights has never been the same since we had to turn on to all this rubbish that's on there at the moment. But hopefully now we're going to get a season of movies. I mean, the figures, you put this on there, Jace. I think Live and Let Die and Jaws were both first screened on ITV in the early 80s, and they drew something like 23 million viewers. That's like a third of the population tuned into these things. That's a hell of a viewing figure. So I'd be very curious to know what figures they drew last night. But I was really pleased with it. I didn't watch them because I've seen them millions of times before, but it's just nice to see these movies making an appearance on primetime TV on a Saturday night. Just brilliant. I can't fault it. Let's see, Chris, looking forward to seeing what this new thread of yours. All you put was this little teaser photograph of Watership Down in what looked like a VHS case, but I couldn't be sure. But I'm really looking forward to finding out what this new thread of yours is. And talking of threads, absolutely loving this 50 years of film. It's just superb. We are really embracing that one. There are people joining in with this one that have not joined in on the previous ones, probably including me. 1977 was a difficult year. Mine were very, very predictable. Jason, you got all three right. I thought you might. But The Goodbye Girl, I think Caroline mentioned that one. Never seen it, but I really want to watch it now. Richard Dreyfuss and Marsha Mason, I think. And you also put one on called Ruby. Didn't see that one coming. That was a horror movie from 1977. I remember it coming round to Burton Odin on a double bill with a movie called Summer of Fear, starring Linda Blair, an ex-certificate double bill. So yeah, I didn't realise you were into that kind of movie. It kind of surprised me with Carrie when we hit 1975 or 6. So yeah, I would definitely be checking out The Goodbye Girl. What else have we got here? Popular movies in 1977. The Hills Have Eyes, that got a couple of mentions. Smokey and the Bandit. Let's see. Oh, Guy and Jason, you mentioned that one. What a brilliant movie. The theme to that, I can't remember what it's called, but you know the one that plays over the beginning titles. I would have that playing every morning on the way to work if I could, because that would just set you up for the day. I'll post it later on if I remember. And also a surprising one for me, Pumping Iron, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Was it, who mentioned that one? Pumping Iron. Chris and Mark mentioned that one. So, one or two crossovers. Mine were obviously Saturday Night Fever, Close Encounters and Star Wars. Very predictable, but 1977 was a marvellous year for me. I loved it. Let's see, what have we got here? Making sure I've just mentioned everything before I move on. Yeah, done all that. Trailer for a movie called The Fall. We're talking about claustrophobic films. How about vertigo-inducing films? There is a movie called Fall coming out about people trapped on the top of a tower. You've got to see this trailer to believe it. It's posted on the group probably about 3-4 days ago. Take a look. But I have to admit, I watched it full screen and it made me feel ever so slightly nauseous watching it. That's how good it looks. So yeah, I would definitely recommend you have a look at that. But if you suffer from vertigo, avoid it like the plague. Another thing I've been I was going to mention this week. Are you all familiar with a series called The Boys on Amazon Prime? I'd heard of it, and for some reason I've got it into my head that it was a mafia gangster connected thing, and it isn't. It's something to do with sort of people policing superheroes. I had the most unbelievable conversation with a colleague at work, Dan Wheeler, about this, who described a scene from season 3, episode 1, which I can't say I'm looking forward to watching. I'm not even sure I'm going to get past that. But I've also been asking other people about this series who basically tell me it is incredibly gruesome, incredibly violent, and I'm now wondering whether I've let myself in for another Gangs of London. You all know how I felt about that one. So I'm going to give it a try. I do want to finish The Man Who Fell to Earth, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and there's another series I'm in the middle of at the moment. I can't remember what it is. There's another one. I need to finish those first. But The Boys is going to be next on the list, and I'll see how far I actually get with it. But the outrageous things that I've heard about it, I'm not sure whether I'm going to make it past the first episode, but we'll see. It happened with Gangs of London, and I'm already thinking about maybe giving that another go, fool that I am. But we shall see. I think that's everything mentioned to do with... Let me just pop this down a sec. Just pick my notes up. There's so many this week. Let's see, is there anything else on here? No, I think that's pretty much it. So I'll rattle through the reviews. I think I will do as a separate video. Otherwise, I'm not going to get everything in, I don't think. Sequelophobia, Lethal Weapon 3. Brilliant. Really impressed with that one. I'm looking forward to Lethal Weapon 4. Lethal Weapon 3, I won't even begin to describe the plot to you because you've all seen these things. I've only just sort of got round to watching them. But I thought it was really good. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm totally looking forward to seeing the 4th instalment, which will set me up nicely for Lethal Weapon 5 when it finally happens, which shouldn't be too far away, I wouldn't have thought. Vinyl corner for this week is this. I actually bought the movie. I'll show you that in a minute. The Leap. This is a cracking soundtrack by John Barry, who did a lot of the Bond movies. He did the score for Somewhere in Time, Out of Africa, He's done a lot of film scores. This, I think, is one of his best. The music in this is just simply brilliant. So on the back there, you've got. I've got so many of these. I could keep this going for years. But that is one of my favourite vinyl albums, and obviously just popping that on the turntable made me want to buy the movie again. So I've invested in the Blu-ray. This version, I believe, is about 2 hours. Somewhere in existence, there is a 2.5 hour cut of this, which I'm dying to get hold of. I mean, if you cobble together all of the deleted scenes in this, it probably would equal 2.5 hours or so. But I would love to see the actual 2.5 hour cut of this. Nick Nolte, Jacqueline Bisset, and Robert Shaw, based on the Peter Benchley novel. It's not Jaws. You don't go into this watching it thinking you're going to be watching Jaws, because you're not. It's to do with treasure hunters. But it's a cracking film, and I believe this was 1977, so this would have narrowly missed out on my list. In fact, I'd have been torn between this and Star Wars if I'd have remembered about this one. But yeah, that's what I bought this week. Bin it or keep it. I'm trying not to go over 30 minutes in case the camera cuts out again. Bin it or keep it. Sanctum. We talked about this one, Jason, and you weren't wrong. A brilliant movie, absolutely superb. Claustrophobic as hell, though. I had real issues with the scenes in this one. The drownings, being trapped in those tiny caves, but underwater as well, which made it doubly bad. The only thing is, this movie is visually stunning. It's absolutely brilliant. The problem is, will I watch it again? Probably not, because I felt so uncomfortable watching it the first time. But I'm not denying that this is one hell of a film visually. And I would recommend it. If you're not claustrophobic, you'll absolutely love this. So yeah, all to do with cave divers, getting trapped in one of the sort of the largest cave systems, I believe, in South America. As I say, to look at, absolutely stunning. But if you're claustrophobic, avoid like the plague. It's an unpleasant experience. I wasn't so much watching it like this, but I was really sort of, oh God, oh no, sort of uncomfortable, especially the drowning scenes. So yeah, worth it. Am I binning it or keeping it? I don't know. Probably binning it, but in the nicest possible way. I'm binning it, but with very nice memories of the visual side of it, but not the uncomfortable side. What else have I got? I was given this one this week. Somebody found this at work and bought it to me. Never seen it, never heard of it, but as soon as I've got it for absolutely nothing, I will give it a go. The Huntress of Auschwitz. Yeah, not many laughs in this one, I'm guessing, but we'll see. I'll let you know what I think of that one. I'll give it a go. Holocaust Revenge. Sounds a bit like an exploitation movie, but we'll see. I'll let you know on that one. Book of the week. There are two. I finished watching the series Pistol, which, by the way, is absolutely brilliant. If you get the chance to watch it and you're not familiar with the story of the Sex Pistols, watch Pistol. You will not go far wrong. I know John Lydon doesn't like it, but he wouldn't do, because there was some kind of a legal wrangle concerning the making of it. But I thought it was superb. And the two books I bought this week, they're not exactly movie based, but they are based around that. Steve Jones's autobiography, Lonely Boy, which is what Pistol was actually based on. So I'm looking forward to reading that. And while I was that, this one was underneath it. Glenn Matlock's autobiography. He was the one of the guitarists, I believe. And this one's called, I Was a Teenage Sex Pistol. So looking forward to having a read of that. As I say, reviews, there aren't really many. I watched Prince of Darkness last night, John Carpenter's movie from 1987. Not really sure. I enjoyed it. It was all right, but it reminded me a lot of The Fog. It also reminded me a lot of Assault on Precinct 13, visually. So, yeah, it's worth a look if you've not seen it before. It's typical John Carpenter. Can't really go wrong with it. And the other one was Clerk. I'm going to do a proper video on this, I think, because I could talk for 5 or 6 minutes, but if I try it now, this camera's going to cut out to just know it. But it's a documentary based around the life of Kevin Smith, the director. So I'll do a little video on that one. I might even do it next week, actually. Give me a head start on what's coming. So thanks for joining me, folks. If you've enjoyed the video, I'm sorry I've rattled through things a little bit fast. I've had a lot to get through and I wanted to do it within 30 minutes. If you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and also subscribe. That would be absolutely amazing. Thanks ever so much for joining me. Hope the weather's going to pick up a bit. It's gone all stormy out there. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday and I will talk to you all again next Sunday. Take care, folks. Ta-ra.